Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Giver Price, talking to you about you and your business. Going to get to spend some time with my friend Brian Spitz, and he is an extraordinary entrepreneur with a company called BigStateHomeBuyers.com. Brian, let's get started with you telling us a little bit about your great company, and then introduce your guest to us for us today.
Sure. Good morning, buyers. I'm Brian Spitz with Big State Home Buyers, and what we do is we a seamless service company that buys property from sellers. We buy the property, we close cash quickly, we solve title problems, we do everything that needs to be done, and then we work with investment clients to help build their investment portfolios by matching them with properties that work for their investment strategy.
Awesome. And
so we do easy buying, and we also do the selling.
Awesome. And your guest today?
Today we have Daryl on the show, who's a real estate attorney, and we are going to, what I wanted to touch on today, Daryl and I talked a little bit, was about this court case that was just decided with the buyer's representation agreements. So wanted to see if we could talk a little bit about that today.
That's great. Daryl, can we get your full name and your website real quick?
Daryl W. Bailey. Website is Looper, Reed, and McGraw, or LRMlaw.com.
LRMlaw.com. Real quick, tell us about your firm, and then we'll have Brian pose that first question for you. Go ahead and tell us real quick about your firm before Brian's question.
Started in 1985. We are a Texas-based firm with offices in Dallas, Houston, and Tyler. We have a little bit more than 120 lawyers. We provide a full services in litigation, transactional work, estate planning, healthcare, bankruptcy, transactional work, international work, and a number of other areas, family law, a number of other areas.
Brian, your question?
Yeah. So, being that your specialty is in real estate law, I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit about this court case that was just decided the other day. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was a case brought by a person who had signed what was called a buyer's representation agreement with a real estate firm who was seeking to property in a certain area of the city. There was time passed. Apparently, the person that he had initially had his relationship with at the real estate firm left, and his contention was that, he then didn't get anybody to contact him at all about him trying to find property in, I think, the Rice University area. He met coincidentally some other person at, I think, a social gathering. I'm not sure about that fact, but in any event, another realtor he met subsequently, and that realtor assisted him and found a piece of property available that he eventually closed on. The firm that he had the I think it was a 6-month buyer's representation agreement with, then claimed that they were owed a commission on that transaction on his purchase because they were to be the exclusive and sole representative of him for purchasing a property. Case went to trial, and the jury found that he was not liable for the commission being claimed by the real estate firm. And I believe the jury also found that the real estate firm, had breached the contract prior to their claim about the property being sold.
It's a really interesting case there because those buyer's representation agreements, what those is when a realtor is working with a client who's looking to buy a house. It's an agreement that binds the relationship for 6 months, where if that client buys a house, they're to work with that realtor. So real interesting that the court found in favor of the buyer, not the agency, to protect the agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I want to be clear here that This wasn't a trial to the judge, so it was a verdict by a jury. And again, I have not obtained, what the charge is, what the questions are that were presented to the jury. But I believe that part of the basis of the verdict was that they found that the real estate company had breached the contract. And, in those cases, if one party breaches the contract, then you're not able to recover for an alleged breach of the other contract if the contract has previously been breached. Now, again, I'm hesitant to say unequivocally that that's what happened in the case, but that's what I recall reading in the newspaper.
Let me ask you, what do you consider the potential implications of this? How could it change the way the real estate business is conducted?
Well, again, we're at a trial. We've had a verdict at a trial level, and as you guys know, there are oftentimes appeals of these cases. So I don't think that you can say for sure that the jury verdict will necessarily hold up on appeal. But obviously, I think the message that is at least was sent out of the facts considered by this jury is that you can't, quote unquote, tie up somebody and not service them. And I think that's when his contact left the real estate firm. Again, from the reading of the report in the Chronicle, it sounded as though that his contention was, and so then nobody paid any attention to me or helped me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think what you can glean from that is, just because somebody leaves, if you've got this buyer's representation agreement that's with a particular firm, you better assign somebody to that person and be active in trying to assist them. Because if they find it otherwise, because the real estate firm was not active in really trying to help him because the person who he had the relationship with had left that firm, then it sounds like that the jury says, well, then he went out. Someone else discovered that he was looking for real estate, and so if you, quote unquote, did nothing to
Daryl, I have to kind of wrap it up, so I need you to kind of wrap it up. Sorry, go right ahead.
If you did nothing to assist in that transaction, then you're not entitled to your commission.
Here you go. Yeah, sounds pretty potentially brutal, but again, this is yet to fully be settled. It's got a course to run. Brian Spitz, he's with BigStateHomebuyers.com. Daryl W. Bailey, he can be reached over at LRMLaw.com. Gentlemen, thanks very much. Important conversation. People, I think, need to be aware of. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for having me.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com, and this is The Price of Business.